Hi guys, it's Thais here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be explaining to you how my course works, how you can make the most of each lesson, some exercises that you can do. I'm going to be showing you how to work the method, mostly for the self-paced option. So you can purchase individual lessons or you can purchase the entire course. I'm also going to be briefly talking about the things that you could do with me if we do the individual coaching option. But yeah, let's get into it. So right now I'm still developing the course, but these are the topics that we're going to be talking about, and the idea is that we talk about different topics. The idea is that you're going to be focusing on two dialogues a month. So every other week you can start a new dialogue. And as you wait before you start a new dialogue, I would like you to just repeat what you're doing as many times as possible, especially the audios that I'm going to be sending to you. Because the more you listen to the audios, the easier it is for your brain to retain the information without working too hard. There are also going to be some media resources, book recommendations. So I'm going to be explaining that to you as well. But that's the idea. We're going to have 24 lessons. That's if you purchase the whole course. If you purchase an individual module, it's a little bit different, but the principle of learning through repetition and exposure still applies. So I'm going to be showing you guys the first lesson because I'm going to make this lesson available for free. So the first lesson is a trial lesson so you can understand how the method works. But keep in mind that the topics are very different, right? So the first lesson is about the importance of intention when you start a new goal. And then as we continue, we have different topics. So if you decide to purchase an individual module, it's also important to pick something that you think might really help you. So, as you can see, the topics are going to be different, but the structure is pretty much the same. So, if you remember what I'm talking about here, then I think everything is going to go smoothly for you. So, the first topic, you're always going to have an audio narration of myself reading the text. So, it's a dialogue. Just as a quick disclaimer, my dialogues were generated with the assistance of artificial intelligence. I'm the one that prompts each dialogue. I'm very specific when it comes to the kind of content that I want. I review the dialogues and I provide the audio material by myself, but they are generated by artificial intelligence, just so that you're aware. And my audios are also homemade. So it's important to keep those things in mind. So you're going to be reading the dialogue by yourself, and you also have my narration provided. And the idea is the more you listen to it, the easier it is for you to retain the information. You can download it, you can change the speed. And every time, the more you listen to it, the more you're going to be able to get used to it through repetition. We also have conversation questions. So each dialogue is going to have its own conversation questions, or I would like to call them journaling prompts, writing exercises. And the idea is you can pick a few questions or you can do all the questions that you want. And you can either write about it, so you can practice your writing in Portuguese, or if your level is a little bit higher, you can try to do some voice journaling exercises. So the idea is you pick a question and you try to really think about what the question is asking you to do. And you just think about it out loud. And the idea is, well, that's going to help you with your language learning. But because that's such a holistic, comprehensive course, the idea is you're going to read a topic about something that has to do with psychology, more spiritual topics, and then through the conversation questions, you can really discern and decide for yourself if you agree with the information or not. But I think that's a great way for you to just be more mindful about the things that I'm talking about here, because I think that most of the learning when it comes to the more spiritual topics is going to happen if you get to conclusions by yourself. So that's the idea here. If you do individual coaching with me, we're going to have an activity that you can kind of journal about your week, about your day, your plans. And if you're open to it, we can discuss that as well, like through a more spiritual perspective. But I can also just focus on the language. That's completely up to you. But writing and reflection are very important aspects of this course. So this is how you can also decide if this is the course for you. Then you're always going to have a vocabulary list. I'm not going to show it to you right now because I'm still working on it. But the idea is I don't want you to try to remember too many words at once. Every week, you're going to have 8 words that are based on the topic. The words are actually going to be in the dialogue. And you're going to have the translations. You're going to have some example sentences. And you're also going to have a little narration of myself explaining some common mistakes that people make, how to understand the context. So basically a mini lecture so you can understand a little bit more of how to use the words in context. You can also have the option of making sentences with the words, making flashcards. That part is completely up to you. But it's very important that you don't overstress yourself. Focus on the same words that are provided on the dialogue that you're studying at the moment, and just try to repeat them. If you try to focus on them for like 2 weeks on the same words and you don't change too much, I think it's much easier to retain the information. You're also going to have the option to translate the dialogue by yourself so that you can really retain the information and see if you understand it. Some people don't like translating. The choice is up to you. I believe that people know what works and what doesn't work for them. So it's also an option for you to simply write everything again, to change the words a little bit in Portuguese. So that's something that you can also do. Each dialogue is also going to have 2 videos that I've selected myself from other creators that talk about the topic. So the idea is you're more exposed to the universe of Portuguese and Brazil. And you also hear other people with different accents talk about the same topics. So then again, the purpose is to really help you with your spiritual development, of course, emotional development, but it's also important for you to actually, it's similar to the principle of a podcast, I would say. It's really important for you to listen to other people talk about the same topics so you get more used to the language in general. And I always tell my students, if you feel like a video is too hard, there's no need to panic. You can turn on the subtitles, you can change the speed, you can watch it more than once. Sometimes it's a matter of waiting a little bit. You wait a few months and then the video is okay. But also every time you watch it, even if you don't understand a lot, there's always something that you're understanding, like your brain is always saving some information. There are some neurological connections happening in your brain. So that's one thing that you can keep in mind. You don't need to feel too stressed, it's absolutely normal. But yes, you're gonna have those resources per dialogue. And if you like somebody, you can go download, not download, you can go subscribe to the person's channel. So the idea is you're really gonna be in the universe of Brazil, which is really gonna help you with your language learning. I'm not gonna show this to you because I'm still working on it myself, but you're also gonna have suggested reading. So I've made a list of books that have helped me a lot with my emotional healing and books that I think could help other people as well. So everything is kind of interconnected. As you can see, there are different topics here, right? So happiness, the importance of writing, everything for the purpose of emotional healing. So I'm going to be offering some book recommendations if you'd like to get to some conclusions by yourself and go further and further into the topic. So that's something that you can do. Some books are going to be provided in Portuguese. I mean, the books are available for purchase. It's up to you, but the recommendations are going to be there. But in the case of books that are not available in Portuguese, I've decided that I'm still going to recommend them anyway because I feel like they're very helpful. But the thing about learning by yourself is that everything can be transformed into a learning exercise. So I would recommend still purchasing the book and trying to translate it into Portuguese. You don't need to buy every single book, but that's a nice habit to have, like to translate things to Portuguese and really so you can try to open yourself up to the things, the concepts that I'm talking about here. Yeah. Okay, so this is what you're going to do by yourself. The idea is that you focus on two dialogues a month, that you don't overstress yourself, but you just try to listen to the dialogues, to read the dialogues as much as possible. After like after some time, I think it will be helpful as well for you to try to just listen to the dialogues instead of reading them, so that you can try to practice your listening skills. You can try to listen to it and take notes, kind of like a podcast a little bit. So that's something that we can do. So that's where you're going to have access to if you purchase the course. If you'd like, we can also have an individual coaching session as well. That's also possible. For the individual coaching, I would have you read the text. I would really check your pronunciation. I would provide help when it comes to accent training. That's what I'll be focusing on. You would have your journal exercises so you can write about your week. And would be really going through the conversation questions, the journaling questions, so that you can really, really think about the topics that we've talked about. And it would be very open. My focus would be mostly on your accent. But if you'd like more emotional healing, um, if you'd like more help when it comes to the spiritual side of things, that's also possible. I'll be happy to provide it. But it's important that I let you know that I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just a person that's very interested in those kind of subjects. But the focus of the lesson would definitely be the language. That's what I will be focusing on. But we're free to talk about those other topics as well because this course is very comprehensive, and my intention is to help people in their journey. But it's very important that I say that I'm trying to help. I can take the journey for you. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be talking about things, but I'm not here to solve anybody's problem. I'm just here to show you the way so you can get to some conclusions by yourself. Even if you do the individual coaching, it's still mostly a self-paced course. So most of the knowledge will happen by yourself. You need to have the urge to find a way. But this course talks about several topics. So if you really think about it, if you give a chance to everything that I'm talking about, I think that this desire is going to come from you naturally. I'm not going to have to do anything. So that's basically how it works. I'm very excited. So basically everything that I explained about the first topic that is going to be available for free is going to apply to all the other topics. So for example, like if you're going to do the one about emotions, you're going to have specific videos, specific questions, specific book suggestions. So that's how it's going to go. Um, and yeah, I think that um, my advantage as your coach is that I'm very empathetic because I really understand what you're going through. I've been in the same situation before, also because of my experience and also my ability to speak English. I think I'm very good at explaining things. I understand the kind of like accent problems that foreigners tend to have, so I can really help you with that. And yeah, I think that this is completely optional, so attunement is very important. This is kind of a passion project for me. And yeah, I've just felt like in my language learning journey, I feel like things tend to be a little bit robotic. Everything's kind of the same. And I feel like people don't talk about things that matter the most. So I feel like everybody's kind of trying to find knowledge. And I feel like nobody finds the knowledge because I don't know. It feels like we're just here to make money, make money, make money. But then I feel like everybody feels a sense of emptiness. Well, not everybody. I think more sensitive people. But yeah, so that's something that I've noticed in my life that was lacking. And I was like, maybe it's lacking because nobody's doing anything about it. So I'm trying to do something about it myself. But yeah, it's very important that I'm transparent about this because this course is very unique. It's for a niche audience. So, yes, so hopefully I got to explain the idea. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can let me know. Um, and yes, I hope to see you here. And thank you so much. Bye bye.